I was like, oh, I'm on the screen.
Well, now it's recording.
Oh, god damn it.
Yeah, I got you saying something stupid.
I sweared.
Caught you saying something stupid. It's okay, whatever.
Wait, I'm not in the thing. There we go.
Yeah, anyway, okay. 45th vlog of the year. This is my friend James. You might have seen him in one of the camping videos. He was the jackass.
I was also in a film called Phone Book.
Yes, he was.
Old.
Yes, yeah. They don't know about that one.
Thank God.
He was in you were in a film.
Yeah.
Anyway, and continuing with the religious theme of this week, we're going to be talking about Christianity, atheism, agnosticism, whatever. And what I specifically wanted to talk about is the ridiculous expectations of Christianity. I know I've already talked about Christianity a lot, but whatever. It never gets old. And it's the idea that, like, when you die, you know, and you find out that actually there is an afterlife and everything that's within the Bible is true, and you know, not only are you going to hell, but everyone else who didn't find the needle in the haystack is going to hell.
And that's the first big assumption of any religion, or especially Christianity in general, that there is an afterlife, and that if you don't do what the Bible says, you're automatically going to hell, which is a justice of God issue, if you ask me. But continue.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. You know, I'd like to ask God, like, what did you expect me to do? Like, how could you expect me to believe in this, you know, this...
Why would you design me with a logical brain and then ask me to believe something that there's no you know, logical, intellectual evidence for?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, you create a world that is completely incompatible with the truth, supposedly. You know?
And then you make this knowledge hidden.
Yeah.
That you have to deceive yourself, essentially, into some kind of psychosis to believe that you can telekinetically communicate with a being.
Yeah, I mean, the entire idea that the way that you go to heaven is by, like, you know, sending God a text message with your brain, like, hey, I want to go.
No, that's just... Hey, I believe you.
Hey, I
believe you exist.
I believe that someone will read this message, you know. It's like, hey, you know... I think that is a completely ridiculous criteria. And it is at this point that I would like to bring up my analogy of the dad who's never there. I think I've told you this before. Yeah.
The letter,
like,
the card or whatever.
Like, imagine growing up in a house, and you supposedly have a dad, but you never see him at the house. He's always gone. But you get notes on the fridge from him, you know, every day, and it's always this, like, thing, like a story of what happened to him in the past.
It would have to be a note by some guy that knew your dad a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. They're not actually from your dad. They're from your dad's friends, and they were, like, written hundreds of years ago, and you're just like... And you know, and the way that you get out of the house, or, you know... I'm going nowhere with this. The way that you know, find a key to get out of the house is that you have to, you know, communicate with your dad somehow. And so, you know, you leave him notes on the fridge, and they just stay there. And no one reads them. But you're supposed to do it anyway.
Yeah.
It's a shitty analogy. It was originally really good, but I made it way shittier because I forgot all of it as I was explaining it.
The first part was there.
Yeah, the first part was there, and then I was like, oh shit, what was the rest of it? Oh, I'm just gonna keep going. Yeah.
The analogy was to highlight that it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I have good analogies though normally. Like this is one of my favorites. You know, where did sin come from?
Right.
You know, like God obviously created sin, and the way that I like to make an analogous remark for it is imagine that God is a painter, and he paints an entire house green, okay? And you walk into the greenhouse, and you notice that one of the walls is painted red, and you say, who the hell painted that wall red? Well, it was the guy who painted the rest of the house.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So that's how I think of God creating sin. It's like nobody else can create things.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, did it just pop up?
He would have had to have been the source. If it was the source of everything else, then he would have had to have been the source of that.
Yeah.
Right.
And how is he perfect then if he was able to conceptualize
Think about it the
sin?
other way. If he didn't create sin, then he wasn't the only infinite being, which means how do you know at that point that he's the real God and he's not just some other dude and there's a bunch of other infinite beings?
Yeah.
You know.
It's like there's a group of infinite beings and they all had their own religion.
Yeah.
And then the God of the Bible decided to troll everyone and say, I'm the only one that actually exists. You know? And then all the other infinite beings are like, hey, you can't do that. We all told our religions that there are many ways.
We're going to paint your fucking wall red.
Yeah.
Trick everybody.
Yeah.
And then God's like, don't look at that fucking wall. We're going to send you to hell. You're just the goddamn Pope.
You're just the goddamn Pope, ain't you?
They won't get that reference.
Yeah, you won't get it. It's an inside joke that we developed tonight.
Yeah,
Actually.
we're gonna wear it out just immediately.
You're just the goddamn Pope, ain't you?
It's dumb.
It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, my biggest problem probably with Christianity in general is infinite punishment for a finite number of sins.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah, and for the most basic reason for that is that it contradicts the idea that God is just. And if his concept of justice isn't ours, then why would he wire us with this sense of justice that we shouldn't be punished forever for only being able to commit a certain amount of crimes on this planet?
Yeah.
We're only alive for so long.
Yeah.
So we can physically only do so many bad things.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah. And then the other part of that is the only thing you have to do to get out of it, to not go to hell, is to say, oh, I believe you sent your son here and then killed him.
Yeah.
That's it. Is that just?
That's yeah. It's such a random criteria for, the difference between eternal happiness and eternal punishment.
Right.
It's just
thin, stupid line.
Yeah, yeah. I'm always amused by the idea too that God, he came, sent his son, and then he just left. Yeah. After that, he came to John on what was it, Crete or Patmos?
Some dumb island.
Some dumb island.
In the middle of nowhere.
And gave him the book of Revelation, visions of the future, and then he just disappeared. Nobody's heard from him since. And we're just it's like what about us?
You better believe I was here at some point.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you to some crappy place forever.
There was an advice God meme I saw. It was oh God, it was really good. It was create the world, wait around 1,000 years, talk to a couple of people, vanish forever.
Yeah.
And I'm just that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, and he's gonna come and talk to a bunch of dudes in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, he's gonna talk to all these people that are crazy.
Yeah.
Like Paul.
Think about it this way: if anybody now said what those dudes were saying then, they would be considered crazy. They would be
nuts.
Insane.
Yeah.
Clinically, they would be having hallucinations.
It'd be,
They'd be heavily medicated and not taken seriously.
Yeah. Or they'd be cult leaders or,
right.
Waco, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But what if these crazy people today that claim that God visits them, what if they wrote it down and made it into a book or something? Then hundreds of years later, somebody somebody just forgets about history or something, and then they're like, "Who is this guy?" Oh, and they try to make a holy book out of it.
I would not be surprised, but I think that as we continue into oblivion, that we're gradually growing smarter about things like that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously that wouldn't happen nowadays, but I was just trying to make an analogy between
now and then.
And then, because that's basically that could have been what happened.
But you can put it on the other foot and say that people are still doing that. They're finding scrolls in the middle of a cave and saying, this was part of the holy works. That should be compiled into one thing.
It's interesting because I was researching, the Council of Nicaea and the council, the various councils that determined what books were canonical in the Bible and things like that. And it's fascinating because, for the first couple councils of those, they were like, Revelation's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to include that.
Yeah.
And then, like, at a certain point, they were like, okay, Revelation should be in the Bible. And it's like, well, what if, like, I would like to hear the discussions that took place in that council where they were, like, you know, arguing over the book of Revelation. Like, what was said? What was said in defense of Revelation and what was said, you know, in attacking?
We needed to pull it all together. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
We need to scare them.
We need to tie it all together.
Yeah.
They need something to dread.
We need to know the end is coming.
They need to know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell is here.
And if you don't do this, this is gonna happen.
What was that thing that I don't remember who said it? It was like he's talking about Revelation and the horses coming in, and he's like, those dudes are riding horses. I'm just gonna hop in my car and drive to 100 miles away until they get there. It's gonna be like a week before they get there. They're never gonna catch me.
I can't remember who said that.
Yeah. Some comedian that I like to rip off, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Patton Oswalt?
Might have been Patton Oswalt.
Yeah.
Might have been. I don't know. He goes off on religious rants.
Yeah.
Your fridge agrees.
My fridge agrees. God.
That's another joke we like to wear out.
Yeah. My fridge makes a strange noise. You guys have probably heard it before.
It punctuates odd silences, generally.
Yeah. James is nervous about being on camera.
I don't like being filmed!
Yeah. It's okay, though, because, like, I posted a video on Monday that was, like, you know, talking about my religious upbringing and my current views and things like that. It was, like, half an hour, so...
Yes.
You probably didn't watch it.
I haven't yet. I've watched all of the other videos on Hipsterhawk.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
But, like, everybody that commented on it was basically, like they had the same, like, similar views as us.
Right.
Like, agnostic, like... or, you know, atheist or whatever.
I think it's very unique that the people that become very learned about Christianity, especially when they've grown up with it over time, eventually begin to doubt it in some form or fashion. And then the guys that become very outspoken for Christianity came to it later in life. I think that's kind of odd.
We should talk about Megan.
Does she watch this?
No, she doesn't.
Okay.
No, okay, no. Nobody I know watches this, except for like you and Spencer,
right?
And I think Kimmy, and that's about it. But she doesn't watch them.
I feel like there's like no shadow between my chin and my neck, so it's like I have just one long chin that ends here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need a beard.
You look strange.
Yeah.
You need an epic beard like this.
I'll paint a red beard on my face with
Just paint it. Just paint it.
Should I do it?
Just paint it.
God damn it.
Just paint it. Don't do it. No, I wasn't serious. I just wanted to say just paint it.
Look like a period on my chin.
Oh, God. On that
Never
note,
mind.
so we know this girl named Megan that we went to, well, maybe I shouldn't use her real name. We knew this girl named Gertrude who went to our high school. And Gertrude is still a Christian. She grew up Christian, all that stuff. She went on a mission trip and things like that. And now she goes to school up here with us. And I saw her the other day, and she asked about James. She was like, so James is an atheist now? And I was like, yeah. You know, like, what you gonna do?
I'm not an atheist. I am atheist.
He is.
Make the distinction.
He is one atheist.
Yeah, my philosophy is atheist. I'm not an atheist as if it implies some kind of club or other religious group.
He doesn't go to an atheist church.
Right. I don't go and worship nothing on Sunday. Like the rest of you. Anyway.
Yeah, anyway. So, and I was like, yeah, James is atheist. And she was like, what does that mean? Like, does he believe that he is a god? And I was just like... What? What? You don't know what atheism is? He doesn't believe in God. Like atheism.
Any of them.
Any of them. He doesn't believe that he's a god. He doesn't believe that you're a god or that there is a god.
There's never been
one. However, it's shocking because she did not know what atheism was, and it's like I made a video yesterday about Christian bubble Christians.
I need to watch this.
Yes, you should. You will get infuriated.
Yeah.
I also made a video about this prayer rug.
Oh, the prayer rug.
The prayer rug. He got one too.
No ill will came our way, despite the warnings.
We're fine.
Yeah.
We're just fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, it just blows my mind that there's, people out there that don't know what atheism is, that profess to believe the opposite of it. It's like they haven't done their research on other alternatives.
Yeah. Well, in their mind, there are no other alternatives.
That's true.
This is it. Because that's what we were told.
But to me, it's like, I just... It makes me think that she's never considered the possibility of there not being a God.
Yeah.
Because if she did, she'd be like, well, what's that called? Atheism.
Right. I don't think that's her fault. I think that it's just been so brainwashed.
Yeah.
That it just it didn't even cross her mind. Because doubting is dangerous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Whenever I brought up a tough question in church, it was always like, when it was answered, it was never actually answered.
Yeah.
But it was always preempted by, like, well, you have to be careful. You got to be careful when you're thinking about these tough questions. Because you don't want to question God. You can't question God's plan. Fuck yeah, I can question God's plan, you stupid bitch. That's what I always wanted to say. But, I couldn't say that, so I just sat there and was like, oh, okay.
Well, and the other thing is that you don't want to doubt. Because when you start doing that, you begin to question your salvation or whatever. And then you become entangled in this just intellectual, spiritual war. And it's emotionally draining.
Yeah.
It's just exhausting to have to go through. That's what I did.
Oh, I did too, yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
I became saved at a very young age. And then grew up in church and then Christian school and private school. And then... at some point, I just continued to not feel like I was saved. I never had a profound religious experience. And I never felt different one way or the other. I always felt like I was the same person.
Yeah.
Like there was no internal, difference.
Yeah.
And so what happened at that point is you begin to, question if you're saved. And then it begins to freak you the fuck out. Because you're like, well, am I going to hell? Am I going to heaven? Am I really a Christian?
And that's always another issue that I had, is this whole issue of salvation. It's like you've got differing views within Christianity on the definition of salvation. Because you've got some people that are saying, like, oh, all you have to do is you just have to accept Christ into your heart, and that's it. Your responsibility ends there.
First of all, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, well, just accept that it's true. Whatever. Yeah. Like, they're saying, like, it ends there. Like, you can be an axe murderer, and you can just accept Christ and then die, and you go to heaven.
Say, I'm sorry,
and then there's other people within Christianity that are saying, like, no, that's not enough, because if you're really saved, then you have to repent and change your ways, and, like, they make it into, like, this good works get you to heaven type thing. Where, like, if you're really a Christian, then you'll show it, and that's how you're saved.
Yeah, it becomes ritual after that.
And then you've got people that are like, well, what, like, people like me and you, like, we claim to be Christian at one point, and then we don't agree with that anymore. Well, what happens to us? There's a verse in the Bible, I forget where it is, of course, where it's like, once you're in your Father's hand, He closes it, and... He will not let you go.
Right, yeah.
And I always took that to mean, like, once you're saved, you're always saved, even if you change your mind later.
What if I don't want to be saved?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but then, there's other people that's like, it's like people that kind of like, they were Christian and then they go off the deep end or whatever.
Right.
And then you've got people in the Christian church saying, like, well, I doubt whether or not he was actually saved. And it's like, well, then it's like, it becomes sort of this thing where you're like, was I ever saved? Or, even if I was, do I still go to heaven even though I'm not anymore?
Yeah.
It's just this ridiculous, just merry-go-round of stupid.
Yeah. And when you're in that place, like, it's the worst thing ever.
Yes.
Because at that point, you're likely surrounded. Like, your entire group of friends are probably Christian. Because that's what you're told to do.
Yeah.
And you're just, by default, by circumstance, grouped in with these people. And then after that, for one thing about it is that once you decide that it's just not true anymore, it's the most liberating thing you can possibly do.
I completely agree with you.
And on the other hand, though, you've got to just recraft your whole group of friends.
Yeah.
For a lot of for the most part, unless
that's very true.
Unless they're developing along with you. But,
yeah, I think kind of our group of friends has done that. Kind of developed along with us because, I mean, all of us, all like everybody that was at our Super Bowl party,
right?
Like all those people used to be Christian at one point.
Right.
And now they're not. you know, and so it's like, I think that's really good.
Yeah, it's interesting how that works out.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were, grew up in the church, like we talked about. Very interesting.
But it really is the most liberating thing once you just let it go and you decide it's not true. Like,
Yeah.
I basically done that.
One of the biggest catalysts for me was studying biology in college.
Yeah.
Because we maybe glossed over, evolution and Darwin and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then when you get to, public university, then they tell you this is just conclusive. This is conclusive. This is how it happened.
Yeah.
And then things begin to unravel at that point. You know. Especially the studying science probably was one of the biggest things. And then philosophy after that.
Oh, yeah. Philosophy was a big thing for me, too. I was a philosophy minor, and you're basically a philosophy minor, too.
Yeah, philosophy minor also.
Yeah. So, that helps a lot.
Which is opening your mind to the possibility.
Just the possibility.
Yeah.
That's all I ask.
Yeah.
Just consider for a second that perhaps this ancient book isn't correct in all things,
Maybe that's not what's best for your life, after all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, most of the Christians that I know seem pretty unhappy. Like, when I hang out with, like, people from church or whatever, like, one of them asked me recently, he was like, "How are you, John?" And I was like, "I'm good." And he was like, "Every time I ask you that, you say you're good." I was like, "That's really cool."
Yeah.
It's like, usually when I ask people, they say, like, "Oh, I'm okay." And I want to be like, that's because you ask people who are unhappy. They're unhappy with the religion that they're being forced to be in right now,
Yeah, but they have to find joy in Christ.
Oh, yes. If you're not a Christian, you can be happy, but you can never have joy.
Yeah, there's a distinction, apparently.
Joy.
They're not synonymous at all. They're just completely separate.
That's how Christians always answer tough questions. They make new terms for things. Because they'll be like, well, you can never be happy unless you're a Christian. Then somebody will be like, I'm pretty happy. And they'll be like, well, you're not this different kind of happy that you didn't know existed.
You haven't experienced special revelation.
Yeah, special revelation.
Yeah, that's a different kind of knowledge.
Oh, it's not general revelation.
Yeah, general revelation is things that you can experience and test and measure. but special revelation, you have to deceive yourself somehow by ignoring all of your senses.
Exactly.
You can't measure it or see it or touch it or smell it or hear it or taste it, but you have to accept that, these things are there nonetheless.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Interesting concept.
I should make up a being that we cannot experience and then command everyone to believe in him.
Yeah, on threat of eternal damnation.
Zeus.
I already don't believe in Zeus.
Pray to Zeus.
That's my
Well,
default. You are an atheist too, ploy. Because they're like, well, you believe in Jesus? Well, do you believe in Zeus? Didn't think so. You're an atheist also. Ha!
Yeah.
I'm just one god fewer than you are.
Yeah.
I stole that from Christopher Hitchens. If you don't know who that is. Yeah.
He's dead.
Sad.
Yeah. I still got your briefly. Christopher Hitchens books. I've read one of them. I haven't read all of God Is Not Great yet.
I haven't either. It's a lot of experiential things that he went through that are metaphorical to some kind of philosophical thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really. He gets kind of wordy.
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
It's really good, but yeah, he's a little wordsmith.
Yeah.
Ish. This is degrading. This is.
Oh, we're getting way off topic. Yeah. I don't even know what we're gonna name this video anymore.
Yeah.
I was gonna name it like I actually didn't know I was gonna name it, but now I have no idea. Whatever. We're two creative people. We can pick it up.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Anyway.
What else is there?
What
That's
else
a long
is there?
video.
It is a long video. However, I'm actually one video behind. So if you want, we can separate it into two.
You could do that.
We could make two videos.
Do that.
We could just make one video that's just goofy as shit with us making stupid voices.
You could do that.
We could do that.
Making stupid video.
We should do that. Let's
Okay.
do that. After this serious one, which is about to end, we gotta make it under 25 minutes.
How long is it?
24.
Are you gonna make it right at 25 minutes?
Oh, I am an expert at this.
Look at my big dumb scar.
Oh, look at that. Big and dumb.
Look at that shit.
Big and dumb. Just like you. Just kidding.
That's round.